What's up, guys? Jesse from Dead Center Coaching here, and today I want to speak to those of you who lack clarity in your vision. You're overwhelmed by conflicting advice. You don't know which programs to follow. You don't know what to eat. You don't know what or how to train, and you're constantly program hopping. Now, I used to be that guy. I used to go to the gym, do whatever. I didn't even know what I was doing. I would just do whatever. I would do tricep pushdowns every single day. I think I did tricep pushdowns every single day for a little over a year. And maybe that's how I built my triceps. Maybe not. Science can tell. But the point I'm trying to make is that I've been in your shoes. You watch a plethora of YouTube videos. One guru says, eat this. The other guru says, eat that, and you're conflicted because you like both of them, but you don't know which advice is correct. So let's make this extremely, extremely simple for yourself. And I'm going to give you some advice that I wish I followed for myself. Of all the gurus that you follow, of all the coaches that you watch on YouTube, of all the people that you watch on Instagram, so on and so forth, pick one. Pick the one that resonates the most with you and listen to that person only. Apply their principles, apply the advice that they gave you, apply as much of the information that you can absorb and see where that gets you in 2-3 months time. The only way to know if it's working is by putting it into practice and then collecting data. So for example, if you're listening to a guy like Mike Israetel on nutrition and you're applying everything he's speaking to you about and it makes sense and it's easy for you to apply, and at the end of 3 months, you're seeing a little to no visible results, well, what he's preaching to you might not necessarily be the right fit for you. Then you can kind of look into something else. The best advice I can give anybody is to hire a coach. Now, I'm not saying this for you guys to come and hire me. However, what I am telling you is to find a coach who you, again, have very similar alignment with, someone that you feel like you can trust, someone whose work you admire, and someone who you feel like you might get along with. There are multiple reasons for this. Firstly, when you're financially invested in something, you take it much more seriously. Not to say that you're not taking it seriously just because you're getting your information from YouTube and stuff, but I'm pretty sure there's statistics out there that say that when the information is given to you for free, people tend to lack the action to do it. And I know this is true because all the information to get in shape is already out there. It's all on YouTube, it's all on Google, it's all on ChatGPT, yet people are still paying coaches to get in shape, knowing full well that all the information is out there. Why? Well, they pay for the implementation because they're not implementing it themselves. They're not really taking the extra mile to keep themselves accountable to do it. So firstly, when you pay someone, you will take it that much more seriously. Secondly, when you're paying someone, you will listen to what that person is telling you. And if you hear conflicting advice, you will most likely bring it up to them, voice your opinion, and they will tell you why or why not this is going to be a good fit for you. Now, I have clients myself who might watch something on TikTok or on YouTube or on Instagram, and they'll come to me and they'll be like, hey, I saw this girl doing this. Can we try that? And then I'll say like, yeah, this works for these types of cases. However, for you, because of X, Y, and Z, this is not really applicable. It can be later on, but at this moment in time, if we implement this, it's kind of working against what we're trying to do. So that way you can give them clarity and you can give them an understanding as to why the information that they are receiving is not necessarily a good fit for them. Provided you have a good coach who has the knowledge and who kind of understands a lot of these concepts. I'm not saying that every coach is dumb, but there's more bad coaches than good coaches out there. So when you do look to hire a coach, you want to really find a good vetting system and get on calls with them, talk to them, pick their brain, and go. Me, for example, whenever a client comes to me with a question, most of the time I'll be able to answer it because I do have a decent knowledge base. I've been in the game for quite a while. And if it's something that I do not have the answer to, I'm not going to sit there and lie to them and tell them some made up story. I will tell them, I'm not sure. Give me some time. Let me look into this and I'll get back to you with a coherent answer. So you want to make sure that you also finding someone who can give you or has the ability to say or admit that they might not necessarily know something. And a lot of people won't do that because it's kind of a hit to their ego. But I think admitting that you don't know something doesn't mean that you're not intelligent. Like, we're all students. We're all learning consistently. So with that being said, now you have the decision. You either find someone that you listen to religiously on the social platforms, or you find someone who you can financially invest into who will help you get to your goals. Whatever direction you take, the end goal remains the same. Whether you're paying or whether you're doing the information for free, you pick your route, and then you commit to the actions that are given to you. The difference between a coach versus free information is a coach is going to lay out the blueprint for you, and all you have to do is follow it and then ask questions along the way. If you're going the free route, you need to develop your own blueprint and then essentially follow it. And this is a lot more tedious and it's a lot more difficult if you don't really know what you're doing. This is how I started, right? So I used to get a bunch of information. Back then, it was very popular to be on the bodybuilding.com forums, the Reddit forums, and so on. And this is where I would get the majority of my information. So what I would do, and I'm going to speak to you guys in terms of the ones looking for the free information, find a one person that you like. Listen to the information that they're speaking about training. Write down the principles that make sense to you and then try to develop something along those principles. So if, for example, they're telling you you're going to do an upper lower body split and you're going to train 5 times a week, let's say upper lower, upper lower, upper. Well, start with that. Take a scrap piece of paper and write out the skeleton of your program. So upper day 1, lower day 2, rest, upper day 3, lower day 4, rest, upper day 5. Something like that. And then continue to listen to what they say, right? How are they selecting the exercises? Now, exercise selection is going to be dependent on a few factors. So whether you have limitations, injuries, so on and so forth, or if you're working on specific body parts, and then just start to lay out the exercises. Listen to how many reps or listen to how many exercises, how many sets that they're saying, and just try to construct it yourself piece by piece so that it makes sense. And then once you have this whole program done, follow it for 3 months. Don't follow it for 2 weeks and then say it's not working. Follow it for about 3 months. If at the end of 3 months you see that it's not going the direction that you want, maybe that program or that approach really just isn't for you, which is completely normal. The next thing would be the nutrition. Listen to the nutrition advice they give you and kind of mark it down. Make yourself what would essentially be a day of dieting. Follow it. If your goal is to lose weight, make yourself a program, follow it for 2 weeks. If you're not dropping weight in 2 weeks, maybe that program is not a good fit for you. However, when it comes to weight loss, you don't necessarily only want to go by the scale. You want to have other metrics to track, such as pictures and such as measurements, because sometimes your weight can be static, but your body can visually change. So you want to make sure that you are tracking all your metrics and you're doing a full self-assessment. Now, I know this sounds like a lot of work, and it is up until you figure it out, which is why I now go the coaching route. So even though I am a coach, I have a coach for myself. Why? Not because I don't know how to do these things, just because I want to remove all the thinking from it. And that way I could just put more of my attention towards where it matters, which is my clients, my business, my family, so on and so forth. Instead of microanalyzing every aspect of everything, especially as a national level bodybuilding competitor, there are a lot of metrics that you track, and your tracking process tends to get a little bit more tedious depending on what part of the season you're in. So if you're someone who has the finances, what I suggest is hire a coach, ask as many questions as possible, really get a deep understanding of why everything is done the way that it is. That way, when you're done your 6 or 12 months or whatever period of time that you've been working with this coach, you can either choose to stay with them or you can choose to leave. Except now when you're leaving with a knowledge bank, hopefully enough so that you can do this on your own and not have to hire another coach. And when you really know how to do this stuff, it's quite easy. It's very easy to make a diet to lose weight. It's very easy to make a diet to gain weight. And it's very easy to create these types of programmings if you're someone who doesn't have very specific limitations. It's easy. We tend to significantly overcomplicate it to just, I don't even know, to create or sell some sort of niche program online. But in reality, weight loss, calorie deficit, weight gain, calorie surplus, it really is that simple. When it comes to working other specific things, yes, other factors come into play. Things can get a little bit more complicated. I get that. However, do not make it more complicated than it is. Find one person that you like to listen to their advice, and actually take action into applying it daily for a few months consistently, or hire someone and do the exact same thing, except this way you will have more of a blueprint guidance to kind of keep you on the right track, and you have someone that you can report to who will analyze and tell you whether or not things are going the right direction, and they will make the adjustments necessary to make sure that you keep going in the right direction. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope that this video was insightful. And if you guys like it, subscribe.